Here, just briefly, the Queen has taken part in her first public engagement outside Windsor Castle this year. She marked the centenary of the Royal Australian Air Force during an open-air service at the Commonwealth War Graves Commission Air Forces Memorial in Runnymede in Surrey. She was last seen outside her residence in November for the annual Remembrance Sunday service at the Cenotaph.
A queue formed outside a vaccination centre in Walthamstow in East London on Wednesday after a drive by a clinical care group to get people vaccinated. The centre had thousands of AstraZeneca doses that needed to be used up, so it asked people over 18 with a health condition and anyone over 50 to turn up. The overwhelming response, though, led to the local council having to close the queue. A cage fighter has been sentenced to life in prison after he murdered his former partner and tried to kill the 15-year-old boy she was having sex with. 50-year-old Paul Robson attacked Caroline Cale and the teenager in Linton in Northumberland last November. He was jailed for a minimum of 35 years.
Calls to crack down on those who litter as lockdown restrictions ease after piles of rubbish were left in parks and on beaches.
Millions set for a pay rise. Good morning. As the national living and minimum wage go up, but some council tax and energy bills are set to rise. How are you set for the new tax year?
Let's have a look through some of the papers for you on this Thursday morning. So a government commissioned review into racism has been described as culturally deaf. That's a report in The Times. The review by the Commission on Race and Ethnic Disparities was criticised for comments about slavery, in which it said the era was also about how African people transform themselves culturally.
The Labour leader, Sir Keir Starmer, has told the Daily Telegraph that using COVID passports for everyday social activities once the pandemic's eased would be against the British instinct. He added that the government mustn't leave it to individuals, such as pub landlords, to decide whether to make such checks.
Let's have a look at the Daily Mirror using its front page to call for tougher fines for people who litter after massive piles of rubbish were left behind following the easing of lockdown rules in England this week. Thousands of workers at steel plants in Rotherham, Motherwell and Newport have been told their futures secure, despite their owners being in huge financial difficulties. The owner of Liberty Steel told the BBC this morning that he had no plans to close any plants, but there is major concern after Sanjeev Gupta asked the government for a £170 million financial support package, which they rejected. Government says it's considering its own measures and hasn't ruled out nationalisation.